the 1950s, cinema was at new levels. So many young faces coming in, taking over and making a name for themselves. One of them was playwright slash director Edward Jr. Wanting to break into the industry as a film director, Edward got his big break for a movie called I Changed My Sex. His selling point was actually himself, because he was actually a transvestite in real life. Wanting to be the next great director, this movie was his ticket to that success. He tweaked the story around and changed the title to Glen or Glenda to better fit his personality, becoming further away from the original intention of the movie, being it's about someone having an actual sex change, which was loosely based on a sex change pioneer from around that period named Christine Jorgensen. After befriending his idol Bela Lugosi, who at that point in his life was a washed-up actor and had become an addict, he gave him the lead to give the movie more credibility. So, this movie was shot in only 4 days in 1953. Glen or Glenda is something else, but in a strange way. It was a unique story which was about this dude Glen, who was engaged to his girlfriend Barbara, but had a deep secret he couldn't tell her, that being he loved dressing up as a woman. Throughout the movie, we're out through these different stages of narrative, nonsensical scenes of Bela Lugosi talking out of his doped out mind, documentary-like scenes, as well as David Lynch-like dream sequences. Also, he loves this movie. And a lot, and I mean a lot of fucking stock footage. Almost all kinds of the rawest stock footage was inserted into the movie, like thunder, animals, traffic, etc. Almost 14 minutes of the shit. By the end, Glen does break the news to his fiancée, but she's completely okay. Job well done, and the movie finishes there. Well, as far as the main plot goes, it's not that confusing. It sure as fuck looks confusing. Basically, he feels like an outcast and he wants to tell his wife, and it gives him spooky, scary dreams. Then he's like, fuck it. I'm going to tell her it's the right thing to do. Slate clean. But it's the visual presentation this movie shows. It's all over the fucking place, especially having Lugosi involved did nothing different for the plot. It took away from it as you watched him spaz around with the nonsensical dialogue. But damn is it good at the same time.
Beware of the big green dragon that sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous, this movie, but like anything Edward did during his career, he made do with what he had. He had a personal story, not much of a plot or time to film it in, especially since he had to make it feature length. Unless you're Roger Corman shooting something in 2 days like Little Shop of Horrors, it's not easy to do, especially back then. I could only imagine the script was as small as the pamphlet they used in fucking Robot Monster. So, in the end, this is not really a good movie. It kind of drags on a bit, but I appreciate anything that Edward did. He is a true inspiration as an indie filmmaker because he used his vision and his heart and stuck to his morals and did whatever an artist needs to do. But tomorrow we'll go into his next big movie because we're going to watch Bride of the fucking Monster.